4 days rest, but he'll be back in the series.
Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Good luck to you in the third period and the rest of the series. After the second period, the score is Canada 3 and the Soviets 1. This is Game 2 from Toronto.
Believe me, when we light the... By contrast to the first period, there was only one goal scored in the second period, and that was by big Alexander Yakushev, who now has scored 12 goals in 12 games, going back to 72 and this 74 series, which is quite an amazing record. But Brad Selwood, when you've got a shot like big Yakushev's got, they've got to go in.
That's for sure, John. He can do it all, can he? He can skate and do everything.
As a matter of fact, Bobby Hull, not a bad winger, said that Yakushev is the best left winger he has ever seen.
Well, he'd get an argument from me there, I'll tell you that for sure, because Bobby sure is super himself.
What happened in that opening period that turned the tide, do you think? Was it Johnny McKenzie finally knocking people down and the club rallied with him because they were beating you 3-on-2, and that usually looks like curtains when you get them that kind of a start?
Up until that point, they were taking the play to us. I think we were standing still a little bit, letting them make their plays and get in the clear and do things, and you're right. I think when Johnny... For one, I noted a couple checks. He hit a couple people pretty hard, and after Gordy's goal, it seemed to pick us right up, and we went on from there.
And when he, as a matter of fact, Gilles Greton was sitting right beside us when Gordy let that shot go. Nothing fancy, no fake, just look where he wanted it up there, and he put it there, and Gilles said to me, he said, we got 7 on it tonight. But I wanted to ask you this, because everybody was saying, well, you should be shooting high. All the goals tonight are high on him, and yet he's got a good hand. I mean, you just don't score high on him that often.
Well, we were told, John, before the series, we watched films of the last game, the 72, and we were told to keep the puck low because he is a big man and he will have tendencies to leave rebounds, therefore causing more opportunities. But from what I've seen of him, he can be beat up high.
It must be difficult to sit on the sideline after playing in the first 2 games as you did and getting a tie and a win out of it. But the difficult job here is for Billy Harris. He promised everybody they'd play, give them all a shot, and... he's such an unemotional kind of a guy. How is he reacting to all this?
The same way you see him and everybody else sees him. I can't believe the man. He never gets ruffled. He never says anything. He never gets riled. He never gets mad. He doesn't yell. I don't know what's wrong with him. But he just doesn't get the right temperament to be a coach. But
all he does is win.
Right, and that's the main thing. He's doing a great job.
The advantage here, of course, is, though, that he has played international hockey. He can sit down there and analyze, I suppose, and maybe... even other coaches might be able to analyze as well, but the fact that he's been involved in it so deep, maybe you'll respect that more than in normal.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't disrespect anything he's told me I believe in because it seems to work. He has a system he wants us to play. We have to try and stand up if we're defensemen, stand up, meet the play, and hit them. He likes every time they make a play, they hate to be touched. If we make body contact with them, it's going to throw them off their game and we can beat them. But he has a system, and if we stick to it, we'll win this series.
He didn't stick to that system in Winnipeg. Wingers were crisscrossing and defensemen were backing up, and it took a while to get straightened away.
That's for sure, John. It seemed that we were all over the ice, and instead of playing our positions like we had in the first 2 games, we got running around maybe thinking we could outscore them or something. I don't know what, but we've gone back to it tonight, and I think it's working.
What is the one thing that has surprised you most about the Soviet team?
I think I could sum it up by saying they're just tremendous athletes. They do everything so well. They skate, they shoot, they just keep on the move all the time. And I think that's why they're so effective at their game.
Brad, we hope you're in the lineup in that first one over there in Moscow, because that's going to be a biggie. Thank you very much, Brad Selwood. After the second period, the score is Canada 5 and the Soviets 3.
Great jubilation, some celebration.
You know, in hockey and in many other sports, many other areas of business, we talk about the drain to the United States. Well, of course, the World Hockey Association now has a full Canadian division. All 5 teams in Canada, the Canadian division. Jim Pattison with Don Chevrier, and they talk about the Canadian division of the WHA.
The division of the WHA is an exciting concept. How did it come about? What was the thinking behind it?
Well, hockey is Canada's own sport. And with the tremendous growth of hockey in the United States and Russia and Europe, we felt that maybe we could lose some of our identification with hockey as our own game in Canada. So the WHA, and particularly the Canadian owners, made an effort to develop this Canadian division to keep some identification in this hockey business in our own country.
With so many American partners in the WHA, was it difficult to sell them on the idea of having 5 teams from Canada playing in one division?
Well, it was a new thought to them, but our partners understood it, what we were trying to achieve, and of course, all of the talent, most of the talent, comes from Canada, and they understood that, and they supported the decision. It was a good decision.
What has your early fan reaction been here in Vancouver to the idea?
Well, it's been excellent right across the country. Out of 5 teams in Canada that we have now, 4 of them are in provincial capitals, and it's been very positive. It's been a good move.
What about the hockey players themselves? Do you find when you negotiate with players and talk to them about their future, they would much rather be in Canada?
Most hockey players, Canadian hockey players, want to play in Canada. Secondly, there's some tax advantages. With the Canadian forward averaging annuity plan, it also is to their advantage. So it's been a good thing.
That's not available in the United States, that forward average.
Well, it's a different kind of they have different advantages down there, too, but this is a particularly good one for Canada and for our professional athletes here.
Well, Jim, with 3 divisions and 8 teams qualifying for the playoffs, how do they all get in?
Well, the 2 best teams from each of the 3 divisions are 6 teams, and the 2 best teams in the 3 divisions in points that are 3rd best will be in the playoffs.
The best of the others, in other words.
The 2 best of the others in points.
Right. This could mean, then, 4 teams from the Canadian division making the playoffs.
We expect 4 teams from the Canadian division to be in the playoffs. That's
Do you
correct.
think people really identify with Canadian cities? Of course, they haven't had the chance to very much in hockey before. They have in football, but they'd much rather watch Toronto playing Vancouver and Quebec playing Winnipeg than, say, an American city.
That's right, and of course this is probably good for the country, too. It helps bring us together, and that's what we're doing as Canadians.
I know one of the aims of the WHA in playing this series with the Soviet Union was to, of course, establish the WHA as a bona fide major professional hockey force in North America and in the world. Would you agree that perhaps already it's beyond your wildest expectations, the acceptance?
Well, we've been very delighted with the whole thing, and of course it's given us the chance to show the quality of hockey that the WHA has in the country, and it certainly helped us. It's been a big shot in the arm for us.
Is there any way that in the future, now having seen what has happened in this series, that any future World Cup can exclude the WHA?
No, I don't think so. There's been discussion already, of course, about a World Cup and future international opportunities, and we're going to be very much part of it.
You'll be in Moscow, will you?
I'll be in Moscow.
Well, Jim Pattison has done an outstanding job since he moved into the hockey world here in Vancouver with his Vancouver Blazers. We'll be ready to go with one of our special interviews after we go upstairs and talk to Howie Meeker. No, they're not ready yet, so it's my fault. I have somebody special. I want Gordon Jukes to come on in. Gordon, you know, I have the good fortune of being on the board of the O'Keefe Foundation, where we help coaching across Canada in all its various forms. And
just 2 years ago, world hockey got underway amid a whirl of skepticism, and here they are playing the Soviet Union in a Summit Series and heading into their 3rd, a bigger and better season. One of the driving forces behind the WHA and also the chairman of the steering committee for Team Canada 74 is Winnipeg's Ben Hatskin. Ben, a very exciting and productive first period.
God, it was great, Al, and we predicted that our team would come out there and give all they have, and it just shows what a bunch of fellas can get together, and they're just going back and forth, and this is going to be, I think, one of those great ones. If you think 72 is a great one, well, God, I hope my heart can have it instead.
Ben, going into the new league season, you've added some teams, and you've got some bigger and better and younger and more superstars, and you've also got the addition of some good building.
Yes, our WHA has now Edmonton with a 16,000, Cleveland with about 17,000, Indianapolis with 16,000, Phoenix with 15,000. And in other words, in the last 2 years, our main trouble was the buildings. And now we're just getting the new arenas, and we're doing it. I think that everybody in the WHA is doing a great job. And we sure are happy to be representing Canada today.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a tremendous showcase for your league and the stars of your league, and the way it's turning out, so far, it's doing the league nothing but good.
I think it's going to do our league a lot of good. We'll hope we can win, but all I can say is for Team Canada 74, they'll give everything they got.
Ben, thanks very much, and good luck in the series.
Thank you very much.
Now let's go back upstairs to Johnny Esau.
A couple of interesting notes here from this new game recorder